If you need some extra help up into your bed, this Body Armor 4x4 step will be a great addition to your 2020 or newer JT Gladiator. Now this is going to be great for the JT owner who is constantly in and out of their bed accessing cargo or whatever you're hauling and want a dedicated step to do so. This is also a good addition if you have a bed rack on the back of your JT and need better access to that as well, especially if you have a tent on top that requires a boost up to set it up. Now not only will this be helpful for accessibility, but also when it comes to a bit of added protection with the durable construction that we'll talk about in just a minute. Now this is specifically designed to work with either the Body Armor 4x4's rear bumper or with the factory one with a bit of modification, but with a compact design, this is going to hug very tightly into the back of the bed for a very clean appearance. Now on top of the step, you'll also see some cutouts. This is going to help with when it comes to some extra traction, keeping the step from puddling up on wetter days. Now, the boxy construction will also match incredibly well with any other HD accessories that you have on your truck for that heavy duty look. Now this step will be durable, made of a steel construction, so it will be able to take a hit if you are out on the trail. This will also have a heavy duty textured black powder coat finish to protect from any rusting. So not only is that going to be on the step here, but also on all of the other components included in this kit. And not only is it going to protect the steel, but also just assist in that more off-road appearance. Now like I mentioned before, this will require some slight modification or trimming to the factory rear bumper. On the Body Armor 4x4 rear bumper, you're not going to have to do any modification at all, but this is going to come with everything that you need for a very straightforward install. Now this will come in at roughly $200 for the 2 steps here, and I think that that's a great price for what you're getting out of the kit. Now not only are you getting 2 steps that will come in handy whenever you're accessing the back of the truck, but they have a heavy duty build that will save that very vulnerable area if you're doing any off-roading, offering you a dual purpose out of the step, which I think is well worth the money. Now install is going to be pretty clear cut at a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about an hour to get the job done. Now speaking of the install, one of our customers here has installed this on their JT and is going to show you how to get the job done step by step. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into it.
The tools necessary to install the side step are a 3/8 ratchet, a 1/2 inch ratchet, a 16mm wrench, an 18mm wrench, a 16mm short socket, a 17mm deep socket, and a 19mm deep socket. And I also used an impact, but that's not necessary. I'm going to be installing the passenger side first. I'm going to do the upper holes for the bracket. The first one's here, the second one's here. Taking the U-shaped passenger side bracket, the U goes upside down. Gonna do the back hole first. I'm leaving both just hand tight for now. Now I'm taking the large bolt and the large washer and placing it here in this hole. Also just leaving it hand tight for now. Now I'm going to move on to the step portion, taking the passenger side step. I'm gonna leave them hand tight for now also. These were the 2 bolts I just did. Now I'm going to be installing this corner bolt. This is where it is on the outside. Was that bolt right there. Now I'm gonna snug these down a little bit and then get my alignment right so that this sits nice against the bumper. For these two bolts here, I used a 16mm wrench on the back side and then a 3/8 ratchet and a deep 17 socket. I didn't go quite all the way yet, just because I want to make sure the alignment's right here. Looks better. I'm gonna fully tighten these now. These 3 bolts, the frame, 2 and 3. Now the third one. Now I'm going to fully snug down these 2 bolts here because I'm still happy with the alignment outside. Now I'm going to fully tighten this corner bolt here. And then for the last bolt over here, I did the same. So a 16mm wrench on the back side and then a deep 17 with a 3/8 ratchet. Now I've snugged that bolt down all the way. All these are tight. These are also tight. And that's the end of the install for the passenger side. And it's the same for the driver's side, but the exhaust is a little in the way, but you still have access. So for the upper bolts that attach to the frame, I used a short 16 socket with the 3/8 wrench to get these up here. And the same thing on the opposite side, right there. And then for the lower, bigger bolt, I used a deep 19 on a 1/2" ratchet for the backside. And then an 18mm wrench for the front. And then for the step part, these 2 bolts here, I used a deep 17 and then a 16mm wrench on the back side up here to get those tightened up. And the same thing for right here, a deep 17 for the top side and a 16mm wrench for the bottom.
So that's going to wrap it up for my review and the install of this Body Armor 4x4 step fitting all 2020 and newer JT Gladiators. And remember, for all things Jeep, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.